What's happening, you guys? It's time for another vlog adventure here. We are on, we're heading westbound on Avenue J, just east of Lancaster, California. We'll be making a delivery over here in town, in Lancaster, to Sygma Foods. We're also, if you're not really familiar with the area, or even somewhat are, whatever, really close to Edwards Air Force Base. We are just south of the base, a few miles, by about a few miles or so. All right, we're going to turn northbound onto here, basically head a little bit more toward Edwards. Keep paying attention to what the guy over there was doing too with that flag or banner thing, whatever he had. Okay, so we're going to take this up to 47th, or no, 47th is parallel to this street. I forget what street we're going to end up on. Avenue E. Yeah, Avenue E, I remember there's railroad tracks that we cross right before we get to Sierra Highway. So yeah, and you see the crossing right there. Avenue E is actually one I tend to take a lot when I'm coming through the Antelope Valley back to my house from, like, say, Bakersfield or wherever. And I tend to not like to deal with the LA Basin. Who can blame me? So, and I don't want to deal with Lancaster and Palmdale. So I usually take, I usually get off over here at where 138 and 14 meet up on the north end of Lancaster. The east side of that same exit is Avenue D as a delta. I usually take that over here to Sierra Highway, which is a major road that goes all the way down to Palmdale, and actually all the way down to Santa Clarita. And then I come across E most of the time over, yeah, I stay off of 138 most of the way. In fact, I didn't even touch 138 or 18 today on the way from the house. Oh wait, no, I don't want to turn here. I can turn here, but I don't want to. I want to go on E, so. Alright, so I have been to Sygma a couple of times already. Yeah, I think only twice. They're like pretty much any Sygma with how they do things. Yeah, you have a guard check you checked in at, and then as I recall, they'll give you a dock door, and then you dock in with, you open your doors, bump the dock, and then when you go into the receiving office, make sure you bring the seal in there with you. I just remembered the Sygma that I did in, was it Charlotte or whatever it was, a month or two ago, whatever it was, you guys remember? Yeah, it was pretty much the same exact thing. Bring the seal in the office with you with your bills. Okay, mile and a half from Avenue Echo. Alright, so Lancaster, Palmdale area, one person, at least a couple of people who are notable over here would be R. Lee Ermey. You guys, hopefully I know who he is. Played the drill instructor in the movie Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, he lived out this way, and he also had like a bar, I can't remember if it was a sports bar or whatever. Some kind of a bar here in Palmdale up until he died. And they actually ended up naming a street over there after him, R. Lee Ermey Way. That was pretty cool. And then what's that other guy who that singer turned rapper or whatever, Sean or Aaron? Yeah, I don't know. I forget his name. Aaron Carter? Is that his name? Yeah. He's from the area too. And then, what's that, Afro Man? Yeah, I want to say Afro Man, the rapper. Yeah, he would, yeah, if you listen to any of his music, yeah, he would talk a lot about Palmdale on his stuff too. So, alright, so enough about that. Less than a mile over to, okay. So since we're in the area, I'm going to talk about something, again, a little bit on the aircraft-related side, actually very much on the aircraft-related side, and something unique to this part of the country that people don't realize. Now, some of you guys might know that, that I grew up in Barstow, California. I'm not from Barstow. I'm not originally from there, and I don't live there currently, but I grew up there. And a little known fact about the place is that place gets a lot of sonic booms. And we get a lot of, oh wait, no, this is G. This is the one I want. Okay, so I kept thinking I wanted E for some reason, but no, this is actually the street that my customer is even on, so they'll just be on the other side of Highway 14. Okay, so my Barstow Facebook group that I run, I regularly get people in there who are new to the area, who aren't used to experiencing sonic booms, and they'll start posting on the Facebook group there. What was that? It sounded like a bomb went off or something, like some crazy thing, or even more so if they're not used to earthquakes. Also, they might hear and feel the sonic boom and mistake it for an earthquake. Huge difference, though, guys, between an earthquake and a sonic boom. I've been in tons of earthquakes. Now, the sonic booms I've had a lot of experiences with too. The space shuttle used to land right over here at Edwards. Anytime it would land when I was growing up, you would hear the sonic booms. Now, sonic booms, you almost always hear two of them in a row. Boom, boom. It'll be one bigger one, and then the second one slightly, maybe not quite as strong, but very strong still. And it'll be really fast. Boom, boom. And then it'll be all done. It'll startle you if you don't know what to expect. Yeah, or actually it'll startle you anyway, even if you are expecting it. Now, a sonic boom, it happens when the aircraft is going over the speed of sound, and the wings will actually create a shock wave. Just like if you're in water in a boat, you see the wake that gets created. An aircraft does the same thing with air, but you just can't see it. So, and then it'll create a shock wave. If you ever watch an aircraft flying at Mach 1, you'll see a big shock wave form right by the wings. And that's a sonic boom that it gets created, and it'll travel whichever direction that the aircraft's traveling in. And then the tail section will also create a sonic boom. So in theory, even though it's not possible for it to do it, if you had, let's just say, the B-2 Spirit bomber, stealth bomber, if it could fly supersonic, I would imagine it would only create one, like, boom, because it doesn't really have a tail section. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's a pickup coming from the south, but I'll be fine. Alright, so and then you guys might be wondering, well, I thought sonic booms weren't allowed in the U.S. Yes, true. However, they are allowed in restricted airspace areas. There are designated areas that are there especially for that purpose. Now, just north of Highway 58, in between US 395 and Hinckley or Barstow, there's an area there, as I might call it, the R2508 corridor. That's a supersonic corridor. And growing up in Barstow, I'd hear the sonic booms a lot, and I'd go out in my backyard and look out to the northwest sky, and I could see an airplane zipping across really at high speed up there. It helped a lot when they had a contrail that they were creating as well, but they didn't always. It just depended. And why would they be doing that? Well, first, Edwards Air Force Base is a test bed base. So they'll test a lot of modifications. They'll test experimental aircraft. And especially when it comes to modifications, you might have aircraft that have been in production and use for a long time, But if they get any kind of modification done on them, and they have to basically rewrite the flight manual because whatever this modification is might affect the flight characteristics of the aircraft, they'll actually test them right here. You know, they'll fly them out of Edwards and fly them up in that 2508 airspace and test them, and then they'll rewrite all the charts for all their flight parameters. So that's kind of more or less what they do. There's another supersonic corridor south of I-40, and basically going up to about where Ludlow is, in between Barstow and Needles, and going all the way down to about where 29 Palms is at, somewhere in that area. I don't know the exact spots where it starts and ends, but it kind of more or less covers that area. So that's why you might hear those sonic booms in the area. Yeah, it always freaks people out though. It's always comical because everybody who's been in Barstow a long time knows exactly what that is. And they know that sonic booms are a nearly daily thing going on there. But I will have to laugh at something that somebody said. It was actually a friend of my family's through church, I think, and she made a really stupid political comment about the sonic booms. She tried to basically say that we didn't, because there have been a lot of sonic booms lately, and she's trying to blame it on Biden, and you know, she's trying to say that there weren't as many sonic booms when Trump was in office. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to my Facebook group and use the search tool on there, and I'll show you that there were several posts in there, and just in 2019 alone, that's only one of the years that Trump was in office. He got inaugurated in January of 2017, and actually left August in January of 2021, I believe. And I just looked at 2019 only, and I found at least a few posts from 2019 alone of people, what was that? Oh, and people laughing, it's a sonic boom. Okay, now, earthquakes. A lot of you guys who are not from California and may not have any experience dealing with earthquakes. So I'm going to educate you a little bit on that. Oh yeah, I did hear about some kind of closure on 14 before. I think my buddy of mine just delivered at this same Sygma not too long ago, and had to take he ended up taking some crazy route out of the area, and I could have just directed him straight across this road right here. Okay, so earthquakes, there are generally three types, but more or less what you actually feel and hear, whatever, are two basic types. So you get a roller and a shaker. Now they manifest different ways too. The shaker. Now I'm going to say I've been in 3 different earthquakes of 7.0 and larger, several 6.0 and larger. I can't even remember how many though. It's been a good number of them. A bunch of 5.0 pluses and even more 4.0s and 3s. In fact, we just had a 3.0 this morning in Devore. Yeah, just on the north side of San Bernardino. I don't think I felt it. There was a point in time earlier today I thought I might have felt something, but I wasn't sure if that was actually an earthquake or my mind going playing tricks on me or something. But so anyway, the shaker, I'm gonna bring up the bigger shakers because it's more noticeable with those. It's more exaggerated with the effects. The 7.0 Landers earthquake, which I actually just went through Landers yesterday on my way home from picking this load up from the drop yard in El Paso, the Aurora terminal. Now that'll eventually be on my Clips channel. It'll be a bit though. But okay, a shaker, you're normally going to hear it first before you feel anything. You'll hear a rumbling, like, and it'll get more and more intense, and then all of a sudden you'll start feeling the ground shaking, and when a building or a house or whatever you're in starting to shake, and it'll get more and more intense. And the 7.0s, they usually last about a minute or so, which is a long time for an earthquake. And you get something like a 3.0, like what just happened this morning, you have to be real close to the epicenter, more often to even feel it at all. And then even when you do feel it, you're probably only going to feel it for maybe like 10 seconds or something, if even that. So the more intense it is, the longer in duration it lasts. Like I said, the big ones, they last a good minute, maybe even just a tad more. But most of the time, they're over in less than a minute. And all right, so yeah, shakers, you'll always hear them coming before you feel them. And then, like I said, they get intense, and then they just trying to gradually go back, wane down again, and then you'll hear the noise go away. Fun experience. Look outside, or be outside and be near power lines when that's going on, or even just look at the ground. You can actually see like these waves going on in the ground from the shock waves. And that 7.0 Lancaster, I remember I was in sleep in my waterbed, and I got woken up by it. And it was just enough light outside. Now this was not a good practice. Look out the back. I look out my window, and there was a power line, utility pole. I don't call them telephone poles. I can't stand when people call them that, because it's not just telephone wires that are on them. It's electrical and other stuff too. So anyway. There's a utility pole right by my one next door neighbor's house, and another pole on the other end of the other neighbor's house, and the lines that go right behind my house, and you can see them going up and down, like bouncing up and down like someone's jumping on a trampoline or some shit. And then you can also see the pole itself kind of doing this kind of thing, whatever. It's a trip when you see that. Alright, listen to now a roller though. Now those are different. Most of the time, I feel them first. They're a lot more quiet, and because they'll actually go more like you'll actually feel more of a circular motion and not a kind of back and forth shaking kind of motion. And they usually have to be on the pretty strong side before you really hear them. Usually if you hear what you hear at all, if you hear anything, is maybe like a curtains or like say your vertical blinds or whatever actual objects into your house that's actually moving. And but with the shaker, I don't know what exactly you're hearing. I would imagine it's the shock waves or something. It could be the house. I don't know. I don't recall being out in the open outside when when a shaker's going on though. But I will say I remembered I was in a 5 point, I want to say 5.8 or 5.3, whatever it was, a while back when I was still working at the base. I just left work and I was in my pickup. I was getting ready to get on to 215 southbound right there in Moreno Valley. And I'm on the bridge, and I start feeling this, and I'm thinking that somebody is like jumping up and down on my bumper. I thought maybe a coworker was behind me jumping up and down or was screwballing around with me or something while we were waiting at the light. And then it turns out, no, there was nobody there, but there was a car right behind us. Right behind me, but there was nobody outside of any vehicles or near my truck. And then I finally realized this was an earthquake. That's what it was. So it's a trip. Now with earthquakes, most the biggest concern you would want to really have is what's above you that can fall down. Pretty good line of trucks trying to get in here. Surprised I don't see anybody parked over here except for that one yellow Freightliner right there. Alright guys, we're finally checked in here. Waited for 50 minutes before we finally got to the guard shack. Yeah, that was a bit of a wait there. Okay, we're going to be docking into door 8. I'm going to try to keep my speed down below 5. Because I want to get as much of a split as I can out of this. Because I do have a pre-plan. Pick it up tomorrow morning. Yeah, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. Now, I said there's a possibility someone could be in my assigned door. If there is, we'll just park off this stage somewhere, or whatever, and then it looks like, let's see, looks like Hill is in no, actually I'll be right next to Hill, or no, Hill's in 8. Okay, I thought I just saw Hill checked in here. Because there was a Hill truck in line waiting to dock in, to check in, and a few trucks in front of me, so let me, since Hill's there, I don't know if they're, we'll find another spot to go. I'll just go park and we'll get checked in, because I want to know if there's another Hill truck here, because I know for sure I saw a Hill truck in line waiting to check in, and I don't see any other Hill trucks here, so it makes me wonder if he gave me the same dock door that he just gave Hill not long ago. I can't see the lines. I know they got lines there, but I can't see them. I'm pretty far off. I'm like halfway between two spots here. Yeah, how about I get as far back as I can, and then we'll reset. The further back I get, the more room I have to correct it. Alright, now we'll get my tandems over here as far as we can. Alright, looks like we're good there. I'm pretty sure I see the line there over on the blind side. Yeah, we're good there. Okay. Yeah, I would say there's a better chance I'm going to get moved to a different door, because I know damn well I saw Hill checking in at the guard shack on the way in. So unless there's another Hill over there that I don't see, that means they gave me the same door as someone else. So let me get checked in and I'll figure this out. Alright guys, this is ridiculous. Oops. So I went in there, told them that someone was in my assigned door, and it was a Hail truck that had just shown up. And then on my way back over to my truck, because he said that the woman is usually over there. Shit. She said that she would be back in 10 minutes and that I'd have to get a different door from her. And then it turns out that Hill's over here in door 12. So while I was in there trying to check in, turned out Hill had moved from door 8 to door 12. So apparently he was only in door 8 while waiting for his own door to open up. Little did I know. So I thought he actually was docked into my door, and he got assigned to the same door. But turned out he's not. He wasn't even supposed to be in that door. Okay, we're gonna have pretty much a good, really easy, not straight back, but pretty close to it. I didn't even know that until I was, because I was walking back to my truck and actually saw him leaving his truck, and I saw that it was the Hill truck, and I asked him, "Hey, you're the Hill driver, right?" And he goes, and I thought he was still an 8 until I just realized, because I told the guy that door 7 was open, and so he suggested go to door 7 and check back in. And that's when I realized door 8 was actually vacant now. Looking ridiculous. Alright, it's right at 21:30 local time now. Let me try getting checked back in now. Make sure you bring your seal with you. Alright guys, we're done unloading here. It's a little bit after midnight now, so about 3 hours past my appointment time. A little bit of detention pay coming there means now I'm gonna creep. Hopefully I can park out front. They used to allow it. I don't know if they still do. I didn't see any signs out there when I was in line to check in suggesting that I can't park there, but thought it was peculiar that nobody was. All right, yeah, I do see another truck parked over there. So, so I have a reload in Carson this morning at 8 o'clock. That's basically 7.5 hours from now, and it's about a 2-hour trip from here to there. With maybe less with no problems. But I expect I'll run into traffic issues. Let me get checked out here with these guys first and see if they want me to. Alright guys, so she didn't need to inspect my trailer. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to be picking up at General Mills in Carson this morning. I've had enough time. I guess I've had enough time here where I don't know if I do, if I stay here for another till about 4 in the morning, I can get a 7-hour split out of it and be able to hopefully maybe do a 3-hour, if I'm lucky, a 3-hour split when I'm picking the load up, and possibly able to run some decent miles with it then. We'll see how things go though. Meanwhile though, I'm just going to go ahead and park over here. I see that other JCT Hirschbach right there in front of us, so I'll just go ahead and park behind them. And we'll call it a day. I still got my right side door open because I was too close to the pole to get it. Anyway, while we're at it, so the unloading time, it didn't seem like it took an incredibly long time, actually. It took a bit before they started, but once they got started on it, it didn't seem like it took an incredibly long time. As usual though, it's, the time in between when they're done pulling the freight out of your trailer and when they're, I forgot that's a street right there, so I'll go ahead and stop right here. When they pull the freight out of your trailer, they still have other stuff they have to do with it after it's on the warehouse floor, and so that time, like inventorying and quality checking and all that kind of stuff, even though I wouldn't really say it was extremely long time. Then part of the wait there was more just once I got the the lumper amount, which was $160, by the way. It's really not a bad price overall. Yeah, I think, let's see, probably about an hour of the time was spent either getting my lumper, the code that I need to submit, or waiting for the bills after I've already submitted it. So, I don't know. Yeah, it could be a little bit quicker, but really not that bad, I would say. By the way, the girl in the receiving office, great attitude, younger Puerto Rican or mixed race, I would venture a guess, lady there, very friendly, just great attitude. I wish I could have someone like her at every customer, because she had a very friendly demeanor to her. She was smiling a lot, and they have a real asset in her there. So that was a big plus. All right, so that's all I got. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Right, we'll have another vlog for you guys in Carson. Might do. I don't know. Might try to make that one a little on the shorter side, because the next 2 trips are going to be short. I already have the next 2 trips planned out. They're both going to be relatively on the shorter side, and mainly, I think it's mainly because I have another home time coming up on the 27th to 28th next week for appointments. So, not doing the usual 1,500 to 2,000 mile routes because of that, more than likely. I know other Hirschbox/JCT drivers probably say, hey, that's just par for the course. Really, it's not really par for the course for me personally, though. I'm not trying to rub it in or anything. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject, right? We'll see you guys tomorrow, or whenever it gets posted. You have a great night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.